Hello guys and welcome back, and so we are moving in the series of heat and temperature, and so we already seen the that is heat and temperature. So in this lecture or series we are going to discuss about heat equation and what are the main idea behind the heat equation, how can solve your problem in 2 minutes about the heat equation, because most of the numerical problem part from heat chapters from here, that is heat equation. So what is heat equation? So let's talk about this heat equation. So when suppose here two bodies, that is one hot bodies and one here cold bodies. So there are two bodies here, that is one here hot bodies and one here cold bodies. So when we left hot bodies, then it lost heat, and when we heat, that is cold bodies, then it gains heat. So listen very carefully here. So in heat equation, so here two bodies, consider two bodies, that is first one is high temperature hot bodies and second one is low temperature, that is cold bodies. So when we left these hot bodies, so it lost heat, and when we heat in second body, that is cold bodies, then it gains heat. So experimentally it was found that the amount of heat lost or gained by a bodies, it depends on three factor, that is mass. First one is mass, then after change in temperature, and third one is a specific heat capacity. Heat capacity. So it was found that the amount of heat lost or gained by a body is depends on three factors, that is mass, change in temperature and a specific heat capacity. So how can you write in derivation forms? So let's see here, that is, so here mass, change in temperature and a specific heat capacity. So here write, so the if Q be the amount of heat lost or gained by bodies, then it depends on, so Q is directly proportional to M. So it means that how much the mass of that bodies, so the amount of heat lost or gained by that bodies is directly proportional to Q, directly proportional to mass of that bodies, and that is equation 1. And second one is Q is directly proportional to dt, that is change in temperature, that is change in temperature, and that is mass. So the amount of heat lost or gained by that bodies, it depends on two factors, that is Q is directly proportional to mass and Q is directly proportional to dt, that is change in temperature. So now combining equation 1 and 2, so what we get, that is combining equation 1 and 2. So what we get here, that is Q is directly proportional to mdt. So that is mass and change in temperature. And you know the rules of physics, that is when we remove a proportional constants in any equation, when we remove proportional sign, so we have to put one constant. So here, so that constant is, so Q is ms dt. So when we remove that proportional sign, so here experimentally that is as, put here as ms So here MSM dt. So now we have to write something about that S. So what is S? So S is nothing but it is a specific heat capacity. So the specific heat capacity means S. So S is the specific heat capacity and it is proportional constant. So the finally what we write here from this equation, Q is Ms dt. So finally what is our equation? That equation is called heat equation, and from this equation it suggests that it tells that amount of heat lost or gained by a body is depends on how many factor from last equation, that is three factor. So first one is mass, a specific heat capacity and change in temperature. So what is the definition of heat equation? Now define this equation. So what is the definition? The equation which gives the relation between, listen here, so the equation which gives the relation between, that is our formula, Q equals to Ms dt. So the equation which gives relation between, so what is this Q? Amount of heat lost or gained, amount of heat lost or gained with mass. M means mass and S means a specific heat capacity, and dt means change in temperature. Change in temperature is called heat equation. So heat equation is the equation which gives the relation between the amount of heat lost or gained by a body with mass, a specific heat capacity and change in temperature. So this is the definition of heat equation, and from here numerical part come here, that is we have to find their given three, that is m is given, dt is given and s is given. Then you have to find value of q, and sometime you have to find the dt, that is T2 minus T1, that is final temperature of body minus initial temperature, that is dt. So thank you for watching.